Hello everybody, welcome back to another video here at Rose Cottage Acres. I've got a quick little Aero garden update. It's doing really well. We already had one salad and we've got everything getting ready to be picked again. I had one plant that didn't make it, so I covered that with a golf ball just to keep algae from growing. As you can see, I was a little late getting the sock on my cracky method tomatoes, and they started growing some algae, so I had to get that covered. And they are growing. They were growing into the light, so I've turned them so that they straighten up again. But overall, they're doing okay. But I planted these at the same time as the tomatoes I put in my other container that does have water circulating, so I'm going to show you the difference. So as you can see, there is quite a difference. These guys are big and bushy and thick stemmed and really doing well. Now these lights are working pretty well. I'm pretty happy with them. I think the only problem with this whole system, which if you've been following along, this actually is supposed to be aquaponics, but I don't have a fish in it. I'm just feeding it the same fertilizer as I am my Aero garden plants. The only problem is this little lid keeps falling off, so I got to fish that out again. But it's doing really well. The plants are definitely thriving. Now, an update on the Mini 2 Eco. These quail eggs could have hatched as soon as tomorrow. I am not sure if they are fertile. I felt like they were really late the last time I turned them, but I'm just leaving them in to check. I do have chicken eggs that are fertile, but I'll just have to wait and see. I've never used this incubator before, and I've always used still air instead of these forced air fan incubators, and I'm just not completely trusting it. So I'm not sure if I'm doing everything right or not with it. But hopefully we have a couple chicks because such lovely eggs. Just a matter of waiting and seeing now. So because I was feeling anxious, I pulled out my old workhorse for the eggs I just got in the mail. And I'm stabilizing the temperature now. We're almost there. Because it is still air instead of a forced air, which just means I don't have a fancy fan, it can be a little bit higher, so I'm looking for closer to 100 degrees for the temperature. But, you know, I was hoping to replace it completely because the vanadine, which is what I use to clean it, stained permanently a lot of it, and it's chipped. But it still works. So I'm going to use it for my next hatch here. And hopefully everything will go well because I have been really wanting to get some more Cochin hens, and these eggs are my best chance of it around here, it looks like. So since I wanted some specific genetics on my eggs, I ended up ordering these online. And if you'll recall from my quail eggs, I had no problem having those hatch. So hopefully the chicken eggs will be similar, and I will have at least a few hatch. She very thoughtfully sent me an extra half dozen in case any were cracked. None of them were. But what you do with chicken eggs or any eggs you get through the mail is you unwrap them, let them sit with the pointy end down, and let them come to room temperature before you would incubate them. You probably want to let them sit for at least a day, which I've done. This is because when you ship an egg, it kind of gets jostled around, even if they're being careful with it, and it says fragile all over the box. And the part at the top where the air is, the air sac can get disrupted, that bubble, and you want to let it form again so that your chick can successfully grow and hatch. So that's why you have to let it wait for a day. You can't just put them right in the incubator. So I've done that. I've got my incubator temperature stabilized. I've got water in half of it because I want to have about 40 to 50% humidity right now. And I'm going to start putting my eggs in. Now there seems to be a lot of debate, wash versus don't wash. I'm not going to wash the eggs. It seems like you can end up pushing bacteria into your eggs if you wash them because you remove the natural bloom. So these eggs are not all immaculate. They were laid by real chickens. but they're not too dirty, and I'm just going to use them all as is. So the P is for ones that might be porcelain, and the M is for the ones that might be the millie or calico. So I've got a mix of both. And Mr. Trouble, you can't have those eggs. Get away from my incubator. This is Sherlock. He is obsessed by water and also anything else he shouldn't be in. So, of course, he's going to be nosy. Right, Sher? So just as a temporary measure, because I have my dear little Sherlock, I have duct taped it onto the table. And I also duct taped the cord in because he has been known to unplug things. So here we are. Everyone is in the incubator. And of course the temperature did go down. It's on its way back up. But I had taken the lid off to put them in, so that's to be expected. But basically all we are doing now is keeping an eye on the temperature and humidity every day, turning the eggs a few times a day. So before I wrap up today's video, I just wanted to talk a little bit about using your free local resources. This morning, my local extension office and the Master Gardeners team, they got together and they had a really great program on how to start seeds in your home for planting out in your vegetable garden. They had a bunch of awesome handouts that were geared just for my area, and information on a pest to be aware of, the spotted lanternfly. If you're not aware of that, that's awesome because it's probably not in your area, but is a new pest that came over from Asia and established in Pennsylvania, and now it is showing up in my county and the county next to me, so it is something to be aware of. But it was a really wonderful program. It was about an hour and a half. We had a great turnout, which was exciting to see all these people that wanted to learn how to grow their own plants. And it was completely free. So definitely check out your local extension office and your local Master Gardeners to see what they're doing to help you get ready for a successful growing season. And I hope you all have a wonderful day and keep on growing.